Greetings one and all, this is Rhythmworks and welcome to my channel, and today it is fairly safe to say that I love shooters. I love first person shooters, and I just want to big up Ubisoft and Far Cry franchise for actually getting me turned on to first person shooters in the first place. Not Call of Duty, not Battlefield, but Ubisoft and Far Cry. Now, they were the parties that turned me on to first person shooters to the extent where I decided to give Call of Duty and Battlefield a go based upon my liking for it, and that's how it basically started. So I just want to give full props to Ubisoft and Far Cry 3, and yes, I will be purchasing Far Cry 4 without a doubt. I mean, come on now, you know, they were the catalyst and it was a game I really enjoyed anyway, but I digress. But anyway, with the impending release of Destiny and also The Last of Us Remastered, I want to simply give my personal top tips into having a more enjoyable multiplayer experience with shooters. Now, to some people, I might be preaching to the converted already, but it's not really you this video is really aimed at. I'm aiming this video at people like myself 2 years ago that wasn't really turned on to the whole first person shooter thing, but is now getting into it because of all these wonderful games that have basically come out within the last couple of years, and those that are making the jump to PS4 and actually going to be playing games like The Last of Us for the first time, you know. So those are the people I'm more or less kind of aiming at. The first tip, which to me is the most important tip, is to have a microphone. In order for you to communicate with your teammates, you got to have a microphone. No one's got time to be playing a game and going into your chat. You know, that used to work on PS3 to some extent, but it still wastes a lot of time because your eyes are fixed away from the area of action. So you need to have a mic to communicate. It's quicker to talk than to type, you know, so you need that first and foremost. Now, with PlayStation 4, the PlayStation camera has a mic on there. So that serves as well as good. With a PlayStation 3, I know there are people that, you know, times are a bit hard and times are a bit testing and they can't afford a microphone. But what I use on a PS3 is the PlayStation Eye. I don't use it for anything visual, but with the PlayStation Eye, it has a mic in there as well, and it really has good qualities. There's a good quality to the microphone in the PlayStation Eye, and you can get one on eBay for like a £5, you know, $7.50, and that will serve its purpose, you know. And to get, you know, good quality as well, you know, from your other teammates, buy a pair of headphones as well. In the case where you can't afford a headset, let's say, just buy a PlayStation Eye microphone and one of those cheap Sennheiser stereo headphones, and basically plug the headphones into the TV. Do not have your TV blasting out into the microphone, because all you're going to get is feedback and echo, and that turns people off to no end. So, you know, in terms of being able to hear people, being able to communicate with people on a PS3 level, PlayStation Eye, nice pair of stereo headphones, and you're good to go. Plug it in the TV, you're nice. Okay, with a PlayStation 4, you have the PlayStation camera, and or you can invest in Sony Pulses or Turtle Beach if your budget is more or less open-ended, you know. But however the permutation, you just gotta have a mic. It's as simple as that. Next thing, have a game plan in your lobby. Trust me, you know, it's simple, but it's effective. If you have a game plan from in the lobby, you know exactly what to do when you come out, because I would take it that everybody that's in your lobby will have some knowledge of the map, and if not, you know, will get knowledge of the map depending on the level of communication the teammates are going to have with each other. So have a strategy and discuss it before you get into the action, because sometimes people will get into the actions and they're so involved in the throw of the action that they just forget everything and get messed up, you know, and it can cost lives and it can cost the match, you know, to some point. So have a plan of action and discuss your strategy in the lobby and just go in with that purpose in mind. And next up is simply revive, 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 revive. Now, I'm a big film buff, and there's a film called A Bronx Tale, and that film teaches a lot of life's lessons. It's directed by Robert De Niro. So if you get the chance, have a look at that film. It stars Robert De Niro and Chaz Palminteri, and it's a very, very good film. It was Robert De Niro's directorial debut, actually. And that movie teaches quite a lot of life's lessons. And there's a scene in the movie where Chaz Palminteri lends Robert De Niro's son's character his car to take out his girlfriend, which happens to be black because he's an Italian, and obviously they have racial problems within it, but I won't give too much away. But he basically states, look, you do the car door test. And the son says, well, what do you mean the car door test? He says, okay, when you get out your car to go about your business and you leave your girlfriend in the car, you lock the doors. You lock all the doors. When you come back to your car, if the girl or the passenger in your car does not lean over to open the lock on the window, you dump her, right? And the son says, well, why? And he says, well, if that girl is selfish enough not to open the door in your car, she's a selfish broad and you must dump her, because she will only care about herself and she will not care about you. And I thought, that is so right. That is so true. And in a gaming perspective, it's the same thing. If you play a cooperative game and one of your teammates does not reach out to revive you when you're in stuck, you just leave the game. Because if they don't revive you, they have no intentions of reviving you, and all they want to do is get all the kills and stuff, and then assume that they're the better player because they got the most kills and you're the weakest player because you're dying all the time. But the mark of a good player is simply not about having the most kills. It's about being an asset to his other teammates. So revive, 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 fucking revive. Next up is a simple tip. Learn to flank. Flank is a verb. It basically means to be on one side of. And trust me, it is one of the most effective strategies of killing bosses like this one here in Destiny. And my favorite flanking formation is a T formation. And when you are using the flank formation and you are attacking from a T flank formation, it is effective, because what you can do is that one person at each point fires at the enemy, and naturally the enemy is going to point towards that teammate, giving you the room to shoot at the enemy from another direction. Because what's going to happen is that the enemy is going to be confused as to who he's going to try and kill first, or who it's going to try and kill first. And while you have that rotation going on, you're weakening his defenses. So you're bound to kill the enemy in quick succession. But what people do, which I don't understand, is two things. One, they either jump right in front of the enemy, leaving us two in the back trying to pick him off, and he dies, and he wonders why we're not as stupid as to go where he is to even try and rescue his ass, much less trying to kill the enemy. And another thing that people do is that they see you firing from a particular direction, and instead of seeing that and adapting to that and basically trying to kill the enemy from another standpoint, what does he do? Jumps right in front of your line of fire. That has got to be one of the most annoying things that a teammate can do. Not only is it stupid, it is selfish and it is greedy to do that, because you're going to get two sets of bullets, one from my gun and one from the enemy's gun, and then you're going to try and blame me for your stupidity. So flank, trust me, you flank from a distance, the enemies can't touch you, and if the enemy does get you, you have a 33% chance of dying, because the other two will be there to rescue your ass. But if you're jumping right underneath this freaking crab's backside, there is no way I'm gonna freaking run where you are to try and rescue your ass. It don't make no sense. So try and flank, please. Next up, do not treat your teammates like your audience. By that I mean, they're not there to watch you beast out on a game. They're just not there to do that. Your teammates are there to be an asset to the team. They want to have as equal amount of experience within the game as much as you've had already. Now, this goes back to the whole microphone thing, where there are 3 reasons why people don't have a microphone. A is that they can't afford one. B is that because they're not really that sociable. They're not sociable creatures in that respect. So, they tend to be shy and not really want to say much. But then you have C, the people that choose not to have a mic, or just choose not to turn on their mic because they don't want to hear nothing what anybody else has got to say, because they have their plan as to what they want to do. And there's an illustrative point to this. I watched a video from a very well-renowned Call of Duty player. His name is Bobia, and he stated that when he plays Call of Duty, he recruits people in his clan and what have you. And at first it's all good when they start talking together and they have a plan and what have you. But then what happens is that when they realize that, that Bobby is a kick-ass player, and when they have kick-ass players on the team communicating and they get all the kills and what have you, the other people just chooses not to say anything on the microphone because they want to get all the kills in a certain place for themselves. And he doesn't think that's right, irrespective of how good a player is or how bad a player is. You know what I mean? And I totally agree with that. But in the same token, right, I'm not here to be carried by a team player because he's probably better than me, because I'm trying to be as good as him. I'm not trying to be better than him. I just want to be as good as him. And in order for me to do that, I need to learn. And you can't learn from selfish players that don't want you to be like that, especially in a cooperative setting. It does not make no sense to me. If I want to watch somebody beast out, as I always keep saying, set up a YouTube channel if you haven't got one, or if you have got one, send me the link. I don't want to be watching you in my valuable gaming time that I have, as well as my work time, doing what I do. So please, do not treat your teammates like your audience. We got better things to do than to watch you, enjoy the game as much as you are enjoying the game as a teammate, quote unquote. Next up, join forums and community gaming websites. As much as there are people like the ones I've described that makes your gaming multiplayer experience a loathsome one, they need love too. And there are websites that will cater to those people, and there are websites and forums that will cater to your type of gamer, and it's pretty hard to actually just go into the multiplayer realms and try and hook up with people that you don't know, and to form clans and not knowing how serious they are in joining a clan, and simply because of time differences around the world and life in particular, that people will be committed to being in a clan. So when you look up community websites, community gaming websites, and also gaming forums, you can see from the list of people that are up there who you want to game with. And also the administrators and the moderators for these websites, they're very friendly people. You know, if they weren't, they wouldn't be spending no time writing about the things that they love just as much as you do. Do you know what I mean? It just makes perfect sense to link up with somebody like that online, you know, aside from online on your console. So that's another tip. Last and by no means least, when all of these tips have been taken on board and been exercised, the number one thing, really and truly, is to have fun. Because once you know your teammates' strengths and weaknesses and you adapt to all of those, it's a more enjoyable experience, and you find that all of you will share the experience. Nothing is as good as being an asset to your teammate in just being a support to him, you know, not being an audience to him. That's a different situation altogether. And with that, I find that it makes the whole multiplayer experience more enjoyable when you hook up with people that are like-minded in that way. So, you know, if you're not sociable in terms of talking into a mic, look, man, you know, we've all been there at the end of the day. You know, the one thing that binds us together is our love of gaming. So, you know, talk to us. You know, there are good people out there, there are good gamers out there, there are elite players out there that are helpful in the gaming world, as there are admins and moderators online in community gaming websites. You know, it's because of their love of gaming and our love of gaming why we want other people to share in our experiences and what have you. And you know, you can only share in our experience if you have the knowledge of what is needed to share the experience. Some people have the knowledge and don't even want to give you shit. They don't even want to give you anything. You know what I mean? So that's something to bear in mind. But as much as there are people of that standpoint, there are other people that are willing to share their secrets with you in order for you to have just as good a time as they have been having. You know, and with games like The Last of Us coming out that people haven't even played yet, where have you been? But it's all good though, because I've had people comment and say to me that they've actually jumped from 360 to PS4 on the simple fact of getting The Last of Us remastered. You know, and there are people bitching about the price of the game and what have you, but come on, man. There are some games that are just worth getting, you know, on a different generation of console. It just makes perfect sense. If you love the game, it shouldn't be an issue. You know, if it's just a case where you just don't want to buy shit, then don't fucking buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's either you buy it or you don't. You know, it's as simple as that. Or you just wait until the price goes down, because the price will go down. So I don't see what the issue is when you're bitching about the price of a game at the current standpoint. You know, it's not like you haven't got the PS version of The Last of Us. Go play it on that. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. But have fun. Have fun with your gaming, and you will find that if you link up with like-minded people, you'll experience a much better sense of gamesmanship when you play multiplayer, especially when you're playing shooters. So anyway, that's more or less that for me at the moment. And as always, whatever the console, whatever the platform, whatever the game, whatever the genre, happy gaming, and I will catch you on the next one. And until such time, Magan.